Happy Sunday. Welcome to another edition of Authenticity and Ambition. We've been in our Airstream now for almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow that we left Raleigh and hit the road. We came up through Virginia, New York, went out to Vermont, and now we're back in New York State again. We're in the Finger Lakes region of New York. We're just east. We're at a campsite that's just east of Seneca Lake in the town of Hector, and it's absolutely gorgeous here. If you like wine, there's two wineries that you can walk to within just a few footsteps of this campsite. I like beer. One of my favorite breweries is two lakes over that way to the east in Skinny Atlas. But there's tons of breweries around here too. Lots of stuff to do. So if you're into RVing, airstreaming, highly recommend this spot. It's beautiful. And my I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, my Starlink right here is getting an absolute perfect signal. So I'm able to record this on Zoom today. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It is a little windy. So welcome back. Authenticity and ambition. How can we be both of those things to the fullest? Last few weeks, I read stories with subtext that were around vulnerability and non-attachment, and those were on the authentic side of this equation. And so I wanted to start to dig into the ambition side. And for me, being ambitious has always been about being innovative, being entrepreneurial, and I started to dig into the topic of what is innovation years ago when I was teaching at NC State. I wanted to define the term innovation, and this essay that I'm going to read to you is uh, is how I came about defining innovation. So I hope you like it. I'm gonna start reading here. The title is Innovation is Caring and Thoughtful. Increasing value means doing good and working smart. I will, put the link to this essay, which is in Medium in the show notes, so you can see the images and figures and stuff. But I'm gonna not share screen today. I'm just gonna read it. Innovation is caring. Back in the spring of 2018, I was approaching the close of a 12-year run leading biomedical engineering senior design at NC State University. Over the years, we, the students and I, received much recognition for our entrepreneurship course. The only thing was, we weren't in an entrepreneurship class. It was a design class. What makes your entrepreneurship class so good? I was often asked. It's not an entrepreneurship class. I enjoyed that answer. However, it was not a useful baton for handing off to the next generation of young and energetic professors. What made the class so good? Why did we have startups and entrepreneurs flowing out of the hallways into the world? I started teaching the course in the fall of 2006. To prepare for that first semester, I crafted a unique process for innovation and design. I included sending students into hospitals for an immersive experience to identify and define unmet medical needs. It included a 5-phase double diamond approach. It was more evolutionary than iterative. It incorporated industry standards, such as maintaining design history files as part of a quality management system. All of these nuts and bolts could easily be passed along to the talented team taking over the reins, but it lacked the soul of the course, which was difficult to put into words. So I dug in on those words. I developed a process for innovation and design. What did that mean? What is design? What is innovation? I can elaborate on both for hours. Today, I'm reminiscing on innovation. My favorite definition of innovation was introduced to me by Scott Burleson, a good friend and author of The Statue in the Stone, Decoding Customer Motivation with the 48 Laws of Jobs to be Done philosophy. He teaches that the result of innovation is an increase in value, and to achieve that, the benefits to cost ratio needs to increase. Here I have a figure. I'm not going to show it to you, but it says innovation equals increase in value, which equals increasing benefits over decreasing costs, or increasing the benefits to cost ratio. Starting from this definition, I took a closer look at the numerator and denominator of the benefits to cost ratio. The root of the word benefit comes from the Latin bene facere. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which translates to do good to. I could hear my pop tasting Graham's gravy and saying, bene, bene, it's good. Read that quote with your best impression of an Italian American accent. I'm an Italian American, and I don't know how good my accent was. um, Now that I'm hungry for Graham's pasta and meatballs, I'm reflecting on how caring she was and how much goodness she instilled in us. To do good too is to be caring. Innovation is thoughtful. The denominator was more difficult for me to wrap my head around. For this, I turned to another book, The Goal, A Process of Ongoing Improvement by L.U.M. Goldratt. Through a wonderful story, excuse me. All right. Through a wonderful story, the book teaches process improvement, which is ultimately an exercise in cost reduction. For me, Goldratt was the authority to turn in seeking a definition. Let me reread this one. For me, Goldratt was the authority to turn to, for me to turn to, in seeking a definition for the denominator of the benefits to costs ratio. The story takes us to the floor of a manufacturing plant where he explores many concepts, including the notion that always working is not the most efficient way to run a business. The characters in the book resist this notion, rightfully so, as it is not intuitive. When teaching this concept to my students, I use the analogy of a swimmer stuck in a riptide. Always working by swimming towards the shore is not the most efficient way to safely arrive on dry land. Relaxing and mindfully navigating the current along the shoreline is a better approach. The energy costs are much lower for the thoughtful swimmer. At this moment, I can also hear my son saying, "Hey, Dad, work smarter, not harder." No, son is not a typo. He was 16 when he started giving me that advice. Smart kid. Minimizing assembly line costs in a manufacturing facility and minimizing energy costs when trying to swim to shore are both exercises in working smarter. They're about being thoughtful. And so here I show the figure shows a their sticky notes, and it says innovation equals an increase in value, which equals increasing benefits over reducing costs, which equals caring and thoughtful. This is the X factor missing from the baton being handed off to the future professors of BME senior design class. Much less important was the process itself. A significant lesson learned from The Goal is that a copy and paste of one manufacturing floor to another facility does not work. Each facility needs its own thoughtful exploration to minimize costs. Rather than copying the clinical immersion 5-phase double diamond design history process, be caring and thoughtful. All right, thank you so much. That's my story for today. I'll put the story in the speaker notes so you can see those images if you're interested in looking at those. I'm really curious to know if you're enjoying this. I'm wanting to do this this podcast very authentically, super authentic. which means I'm not editing it. I'm not doing intro music. It's the real me. There's wind blowing. This is what it is. Uh, and if you like it, please let me know. I am interested in the ambitious side of this. I think that there's a message here, and I'd love for people to hear it. And if you think people should hear it too, then we've got to like it, share it, subscribe it, all those things. So if you're a champion of what I'm trying to do here and what I've been encouraged to do from some folks, and let me just do a shout out to that too. I've received text messages from close friends saying, "Wow, I really resonated with that story." Um, I've got a teenager in India who I've never met who's sending me notes saying, like, "Wow, this is really impacting the way I think about my education," uh, which is super humbling. Um, but that's the point. If this resonates with teenagers in India to close friends in my hometown, then wow. But if you like what I'm doing, please please let people know, and who knows, maybe it'll take off. Thank you so much. Wonderful Sunday, a great week. Namaste.